minute, given how well you know him and how he responds to adversity, what does he do with this situation?
I honestly don't think he has the marbles to do anything. I think it's happening to him. And, you know, you just look at a day like today where he goes from one extreme to the other about Iran and whether he's going to bomb it or not. And then he tells the world he is. Why in the world would you do that? And, you know, now he's got the Epstein drama that was created by Maggie Haberman and her colleague. I just think that he is lost and really doesn't have a sense, not that he was so great about this at any time over the last 10 years, but I think he is without any instincts other than self-preservation in the immediate moment. And that self-preservation in the immediate moment means he sets himself up for lots of terrible things going forward.
When you see this Epstein story drop and they're still so concerned about that, and the response is hunt the leakers. As I mentioned, and it bears underscoring, this isn't a response that says they made this up, fake news, it's not true. It's more like, oh no, someone who works here told the truth about this, and all he wants to do is publicly admit that he wants to, quote, hunt them down.
Yeah, I mean, that's his way, is to attack, as he said in the movie. And so, you know, the reality has no meaning to him. Reality is what he makes it in that moment. And in some measure, he believes it. The problem for him right now is most people don't.
Right. And that gap, which we saw in gaffes, it used to be sometimes he would say things and elites or DC would recoil, but he would find a pocket of support out in the country. Maybe we didn't like it, but he would find it. When he says, I love the inflation going up, which I just reported in the Times as an article that's literally wiped out what little hourly gains people had. That's real world. I don't think anyone agrees with him that they love that.
No, I think they don't. And actually, that's part of what we're doing in this assessment. You know, in 2014, I did an article for the New York Times called Why You Hate Work, and it really assessed what's the experience people are having at work. We're redoing that now. That's what you were mentioning. And it strikes me that we are at, probably is going to turn out, that the climate Trump is creating is making the experience of people, what people hate most is uncertainty. That's what makes them the most anxious. And the climate of uncertainty trickles down. He's, from my perspective, the chief Trump, for better or for worse, is the chief energy officer, and the energy is bad. And so the experience people are having, we want to look at what is it that you need to do as a human, as an individual right now, to weather this storm, to deal with what is an unprecedented level of uncertainty.
Yeah. And the gaffes, you know, they may accrue in a way where people are sort of used to them. It's almost like the first time you fall asleep in public, you go, I guess that's part of his deal now, even though he was famously loved to call him Sleepy Joe. And then it keeps happening. Falling asleep at a Knicks game in the finals that you flew up for, you know, it really says something. And I wonder what you think, having worked with him and his communication skills. I want to show some of these recent gaffes, but whether the public is also inured to them to some degree. Take a look.
Mr. President, to what extent are American financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody.
I don't care about the midterms.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that be a
No, I love it. The numbers were great. You know what I really love? I love the inflation.
It's demented. I mean, it's so self-destructive.